What's up, everybody? So there's a pretty big update in the case against Bryan Kohberger. If you are somehow unfamiliar with who Bryan Kohberger is, he is the man that is accused of killing the 4 university students in Idaho. Now, the defense has been trying to get DNA evidence suppressed in the case, and yesterday the judge came back with a ruling. This comes from abcnews.go.com and is linked in the description below. The headline reads, Idaho college killings, judge denies Bryan Kohberger's request to exclude DNA evidence. In a major ruling, see, the trial itself hasn't actually begun yet. This is just everything that's leading up to the trial. The trial itself doesn't begin until August. In a major ruling, the judge overseeing the case of the man charged with killing 4 Idaho college students in 2022 has denied a request to exclude potentially key DNA and other evidence from his upcoming capital murder trial. Lawyers for Bryan Kohberger had sought to suppress DNA evidence that was seen as a linchpin of the prosecutor's case against him. Evidence, they say, directly links Bryan Kohberger to the crime scene. In addition, lawyers sought to exclude data obtained from various online accounts like Apple, Google, and Amazon belonging to Bryan Kohberger, as well as his apartment in Washington and his parents' Pennsylvania home. Judge Stephen Hippler, Hippler, in a sweeping series of rulings on Wednesday, yesterday, which would have been February 19th, 2025, denied the defense requests, paving the way for the prosecution to present to a jury their case against the former criminology PhD student. The judge ruled Kohberger's constitutional rights were not violated and that the police behaved properly. He said the evidence investigators obtained throughout the investigation, which led them to Bryan Kohberger, is not tainted and can be admitted at trial. The court finds suppression is not warranted on any of these issues, the judge stated. The trial, like I said, is set for August of 2025, and if convicted, Bryan Kohberger could face the death penalty. On the critical DNA evidence, the judge wrote, Kohberger's lawyers failed to demonstrate his constitutional rights were violated by detectives. Use of the controversial new technique known as investigative genetic genealogy, which involves building out a family tree to zero in on suspects. The use of genetic genealogy helped point investigators in the direction of their suspect using the DNA taken from a button snap on the knife sheath found at the crime scene. That sample was critical, police said, in cracking the case, and later was shown to be a statistical match for Bryan Kohberger. Authorities said the murder weapon police believe to be a knife has not been found. The judge also said authorities did not improperly collect trash from the Pennsylvania home of Bryan Kohberger's parents, which yielded items with Kohberger's father's DNA that authorities said was confirmed to be a match with Bryan Kohberger's cheek swab later. The judge, setting out a detailed timeline, also cast aside the issues raised by Bryan Kohberger's lawyers, who argued the way he was arrested was unnecessarily aggressive. Law enforcement believed Kohberger was potentially destroying evidence from the vehicle that was related to the homicides, and they also knew he had a Glock handgun, prompting a concern over safety. That's what the judge wrote. That prompted them to descend on the home more swiftly and make the arrest without incident in a bedroom, the judge said. While monitoring the home at 12:33 a.m. on the night of his arrest, snipers observed a kitchen light turn on and saw a taller, young white male wearing a black hoodie standing near the glass sliding door leading out to the deck, whom they were able to identify as Bryan Kohberger. About 20 minutes later, the light came on in the garage. Lights flashed in the garage as if the vehicle was being locked or unlocked by a key fob. A few minutes later, Kohberger was seen in the kitchen of the home this time wearing rubber gloves handling a plastic baggie. The judge wrote, adding, "It was 1:09 a.m. in the morning, a time when most people would not be removing items from their car with rubber gloves." So, all of that evidence is going to be allowed to be used in the case against Bryan Kohberger, which goes to trial this August, and it's expected to last several months. There's no set time frame, of course. It could end up being shorter, it could end up being longer, but it is expected to last a while. What do you think? What do you think of this judge's decision to allow all of this evidence, especially the DNA evidence against Bryan Kohberger? Let me know. Leave some comments below. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you again soon.